Cupcakes Campbell joins me now as he gets ready to fight next weekend for Cage Titans at Cage Titans 47 when he takes on Jeff Perez in the co-main event. Johnny, how are you?
I'm fabulous. How about yourself, Ryan?
Really good. Thank you for the time. Long time coming. Glad to have you on the show for the first time. I know you're at the gym right now. I'm sure you're getting ready to go in there and get some more work in with a lot of those killers that are there at SSSF. Tell me a little bit about this camp and how it's been thus far.
It has been tremendous, about as good as I can ask for. So I felt great. Diet's been great. My training partners have been super helpful. A lot of anti-wrestling, a lot of lateral movement, and a lot of throwing bombs in a friendly fashion for now. So, in the gym, we're all trying to get each other better and ready. And then when we step into the cage, it becomes a different thing, and I'm allowed to unleash in a way that otherwise is like illegal. So it's fantastic to be able to do that.
Now, you have a lot of training partners that actually have fights coming right up. Who have been some of the main guys you've been going with this far in this camp?
So definitely guys like Brandon Fleming and Zach DiSabatino. Jojo Giannetti's been helping me out a lot, especially Kin Moy. I've been having a lot of work with over at the UFC gym. We're able to meet there and train and spar with each other quite a bit. And he's been a key component as well. So those are like my main guys. So, but otherwise there are still so many others that I could name who know that they're out here helping me get ready for this.
How's Jojo looking so far? I know he's got a fight coming right up.
Yeah, stellar as usual. Jojo just 2.0 in a way. Like he is really motivated and is just focused on getting better, and especially for this particular, he's just working very hard on all skills that he needs to be, and he's showing vast improvement across the board.
A couple of guys that I'm not too familiar with that will be fighting for the NEF promotion coming up soon that train with you, Tim Birkenhead and Justin Burrell, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. Can you tell me a little bit about them and what kind of fighters they are?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Justin has been around South Shore longer than I have, in fact, and he is an absolute animal. Wrestler, very, very good wrestler, excellent stand-up. Yeah, he's a lefty. He's a family man now, so he recently had, I believe he's got 2 kids and a wife, so he's been away from the game a little bit, but at the same time, he's always coaching youth wrestling and things. Super great guy, but just a violent man. He actually was half of a company, half a day called Violence Inc., and they made MMA gear and T-shirts, and just really rang through to who he is. He is like a violent man, and he is super exciting to watch fight because of that. I love watching him fight. And then Tim is just a workhorse. I think that's probably the best way to describe him. He's always in the gym, constantly working. He's really only been at his craft for a short time, but his athleticism and physicality really gives him an advantage over a lot of people, and he's come a long way in a short time. And it's super exciting to see both of them getting in the cage for NEF, a great promotion, and big fan base. I feel like they really bring it up there with a huge fan base, so it'll be good to get these guys in front of that group of fans.
Yeah, I'm excited to see both of them fight. Obviously, I live up in Maine, so NEF is a promotion that I get to go to on a regular basis because it's easier for me. One of the big regrets of my MMA journalism career thus far is I haven't had the ability to travel quite as much, but that's going to be changing in 2020. So I plan to make it down to see you fight Cage Titans, CES, Reality, all the rest of these great promotions in the New England area. So I'm really looking forward to that and seeing all of the great fighters that compete across the New England fight scene here. Let's talk about your weight a little bit. Now, your nickname is Cupcakes. Again, this is my first time interviewing you, so I'm assuming that maybe that came from the fact that you like cupcakes. If not, just tell me how that originated.
It didn't hurt, let me tell you. I do indeed like cupcakes and donuts and things of that nature, so it was more just fitting. So originally it started in the gym, and there is a t-shirt company, Johnny Cupcakes, so people call me Johnny, and it just became like Johnny Cupcakes, and then from there it grew into something completely different. I'm really like, my name being Johnny is almost like extra. It's just not even part of it. I am just simply Cupcakes to pretty much everybody that I know, and most people that I don't. You know, I see people out very occasionally, and when they recognize me from seeing me at Plymouth or fighting on maybe television, it's like, hey, Cupcakes, you're Cupcakes. So the name is just, it's almost bigger than I am even now. And they announced me as Johnny Cupcakes Campbell in my first fight, and it just stuck. And before I knew it, it was like, it's on T-shirts now, and I got hats with cupcakes on it. And yeah, it's just a blessing. I love cupcakes also, so I just love food in general, and because of that, it just fit and stuck.
I got an idea. Tell me what you think. You've seen Barstool, I'm sure, where Prez goes around and he does the pizza slice reviews and whatnot. Have you ever thought about maybe going around and doing like cupcake reviews, like videotaping them? You could probably get sponsors out of that.
You are like singing to my ears right now. I love the sound of that. I've been waiting or thinking of some kind of something like that, and I didn't know what it was. And I honestly think that you just nailed it right on the head. I think that that is a must do. Even like a short podcast or vlog or whatever, like once a week. Oh man.
Yeah. I got some ideas.
I got to be careful because I'm about 40 pounds if I do that.
So what is your weight right now? How much left do you have to cut to make weight come fight night?
I'll have to dehydrate about 10% of my body weight in order to get to 135 pounds. So it's a very manageable cut, something that I do pretty regularly. This is my 33rd or 32nd or more pro fight. I've cut weight for just about all of them. So, and then even back in the day, I was cutting to 35 for amateurs as well. So, yeah, that's my dehydration right now is about 10% of my body weight, which is more than manageable.
Do you feel like the older that you're getting, the more weight cuts you have to go through, it's becoming more and more difficult, or that you have it just nailed down and it's just becoming easier?
Yeah, believe it or not, I honestly think it's easier now. I think just scientifically, I approach it in a different fashion. And because of that, the dehydration process, and then what I think is most important is the rehydration process. Pretty much anybody can just sweat out 10, 15, 20 pounds if you're bigger. But not everybody can put it back in appropriately, and I think that that's really what I've kind of figured out over the years and through trials and tribulations and things is now I'm better at getting it off, but I'm also better at putting it back on, and I feel better in the cage every time that I do it. And it's actually, in general, I think I'm a little bit of an anomaly. I think that physically in the gym, I feel better than I did in my 20s, and then cutting the weight, it's like I have an easier time doing it now, when you would think that my body would be kind of like not wanting to do that. So it's all mental. I really do think that, and I'm just stronger mentally than ever. And I think fighting is the perfect like canvas to paint and show how I've improved and whatnot.
That's great to hear. Now, I'm loving the beard. It looks really good on you. It reminds me, it's a little Conor McGregor-esque. So speaking of Conor, I got to get a fight prediction from you. Who do you like tomorrow night, Conor, Cowboy, and why?
All right, so I like both of them for different reasons. I think that Conor probably has the better chance just due to their styles. But I think that if Donald chose to wrestle, I think that he could win the fight almost effortlessly. So I think that Conor is versed on the ground, but I honestly think that Donald is just too difficult as far as his jiu-jitsu is concerned. So if he wanted to surprise Conor and put him on his back, I really do think that he could or would win. So I just cannot wait to see what happens, because it's one of those fights where, like, they have to fight for us to know, and because of that, it makes it so electrifying. So really, anything could happen that night, and I'm super pumped. I'm going Connor most likely, but I think that Donald's in it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm going Connor second round TKO. I think Donald made it clear he wants to stand with him. So we'll see if that's the case. And if so, we're going to be in for a fun main event tomorrow night. I do also want to get your fight analysis on a regional fight that is starting to get a lot of steam behind it. And I feel like you'd be a really good guy to ask, because I don't believe that you have an allegiance to either guy. I don't know if you saw on Facebook recently, but Matt Bissett and Bruce Boyington are going back and forth. There's been a lot of trash talk. Who do you think, if that fight happens, who do you think wins? And do you think it would be a pretty competitive one?
I think it would absolutely. I think that Bissett is such a great fighter that a lot of people might look past Bruce, but just the nature of Bruce's game, and then the nature of Bissett's game. I mean, Bissett has made his name off of like taking a beating sometimes and then overcoming and winning, which is a great story and a fantastic career that he's had. But ultimately, if you take too many spin kicks from Bruce Boynton, you're probably not going to walk away talking about it. So I think that where Bissett wins that fight pretty clearly is on the ground. And again, man, that is such a hard thing. Bruce is such a athletic freak as a weight. It's like, man, do you really want to grab onto that man's thigh? I don't. I definitely don't. So I think that Bissett probably has an edge out of experience and just well-roundedness. But you just can't count a guy like Bruce out, especially he seems to have a pretty never die attitude, and he will just go down kicking and punching if he has to. So that's a fight. That's another one I would love to see. So yeah, let's set that up.
Yeah. I think the New England fight fans would really be in for a treat if that fight does come to fruition. Let's talk about another fight that the fans are really excited to see, and that's your fight with Jeff Perez. You are clearly the veteran fighter here. This will be your 32nd professional fight. Jeff is 5-1, so this will be his 7th fight here as a pro. Where do you hold the biggest advantages going into this fight outside of just sheer experience?
I'd say opponents. I mean, this may be linked to experience, but I've just fought so many gentlemen that are tough, resilient wrestlers and jiu-jitsu fighters. I've fought pretty much a who's who, and Jeff is coming off of a win against Raymond Yanez, who is a skilled fighter in his own right, but not even close to where I am or even where Jeff is. So I just feel like it just opponents alone, it favors me. It just shows that I have dealt with these things and adversity before in the cage, and I just don't know if Jeff has entirely faced the things that he really is required to face before fighting someone like myself. And he's decided to kind of skip the line a little bit and take on this fight, and I commend him for doing so. So I'm just looking to go in there and essentially cave his head in for 15 minutes if I have to, and I think that I will walk away victorious.
Yeah, that's a great quote right there. Cave his head in. Very MMA animalistic. I love it. So when we're talking about Connor and Cowboy and just the advantages, where the fight could, if it goes out, each fighter would have their specific advantages. Where do you think you're going to have the biggest advantage in this fight? If this stays on the feet, do you think you're just going to outshine them? Or if it goes to the ground, do you feel like you're just going to be more well-rounded there?
I think that my well-roundedness is what's going to give me the edge as far as skill is concerned. So wherever the fight is, I feel like I will always be able to bring it to a portion of the fight that gives me the advantage. So when we're on the feet, I will be doing things that keep me ahead of the game. And then as soon as he locks up with me or attempts to, or we go to the floor, I will be keeping myself in advantageous positions the entire time. So I just feel like I'm going to be a step ahead of Jeff the entire night, and he is going to have to deal with me smashing him in the face while he's trying to catch up. And there's one thing to be behind and fight your way back in, but it's very difficult to do so when the person is drumming your head with their hands and elbows. So I'm really looking forward to this fight because of who Jeff is. Jeff is a tough, resilient, strong gentleman, and by smashing him and just doing so in a fashion that people are going to want to shield their eyes potentially while it's happening, and it's going to show to everyone that there is not a style left that can beat me. You know, this entire scene of people around here are almost carbon copies of each other in a lot of ways, and I am one of the few who breaks off of that mold, and I just don't think that anyone in this area can touch me. And once I do what I'm going to do to Jeff Perez, it's going to set a tone of like, I'm the guy, and you either go through me or you fight me and I move on. So this is really like a tournament right now, I think, and the Contender Series and or the UFC is the ultimate prize. And I think that there's a handful of bantamweights that are all really trying to get that spot. And I'm looking at it like kill or be killed. And this is not a sport to me. It is literally like that. What was the movie where all the kids are on an island and they're all killing each other, like the Hunger Games? Like, okay. This is the Hunger Games to me, and I am the one swinging the biggest axe right now.
Wow, that is, I mean, you're like the quote king right now. I mean, talk about some phenomenal words to put down on paper to hype this fight. Tip of the cap to you. That very well said. So let's just say that you do go out there, you do what you say you're going to do, you get an emphatic win. What's next? Is there someone specifically that you'd like to fight? I know you had a close fight with Dan Dubuque. Is that something you want to run back?
I don't think Dan would do 35. I think that he's doing his work up at 45 and 55 at this point. So if he was willing to make another try at 135, I would love to. I feel like I won that fight pretty decisively, and the judges just frickin' messed it up that night, unfortunately. I mean, it's hard to say otherwise. I mean, in the second round, I knock him down. I get his neck in a rear naked choke. I mean, my win in round 2 is so much greater than his edges in rounds 1 and 3. It's like, how did I not get a 10-8 in that second round? It's almost blasphemous, in fact. So that fight was a draw at the absolute least, victory for me otherwise. So yes, I would love that fight, but I want to fight anybody. I think I said it recently. If there's someone ahead of me for that contender slot, then I want to fight them. And if there's somebody who's nipping at my heels, I want that person. I mean, I don't need to name drop or anything, but I mean, I'm getting requests from Ryzen in wherever that is, Japan or something. I don't even know where they are, and they're reaching out for me to fight for them. I got opportunities in Bellator coming in March if all things go according to plan. I'm not looking ahead, but what I am doing is I'm realizing my options, and I love Cage Titans, and I love the guys that are here that I can fight. But I'm willing to fight anyone, the biggest, the brightest, and the best at this point. That's what I want. It is time, and it is all in. So I feel better than ever, and I just feel like Tom Brady or something. Like, at 33 years old, I feel like I'm getting better, and I just want to display that to the world as often as possible.
Well, I love it. And again, I really appreciate you taking the time to join me here today. Definitely a pleasure having you on the show for the first time. Before I do let you go, if there's anyone that you'd like to thank or any sponsors that you have, floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan, for reaching out and interviewing me. I appreciate it very much. It's great to get the exposure. My guys, this is South Shore Sportfighting. It's a little slow right now, but this is my home. I love this place. I got UFC gym folk all behind me, and guys from Citadel who come over to UFC gym and really help me get ready for these battles that I've been having lately. The Rugged RX, which is a fitness center in Hanover, Massachusetts, and Scott has really handled all of my strength and conditioning and instilled all of what I have under this hood over the years, and he's a huge help to me as well. So thank him. My sponsors are just all over the place, vast and always growing. So I'm not going to take too much time with them, but they are all amazing, and I appreciate them. They know who they are. And yeah, that's about it. Cage Titans, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be, co-main event of a huge event, and being able to get on there on Flow Combat and really show the world potentially what I can do. So just a lot of gratitude and thanks to everybody who's helped me along the way. So I can't wait to just get in there on the 25th and really unleash and have fun and just destroy.
Well, Johnny, again, thank you for the time. Best of luck in this upcoming fight, and let's do it again soon.
Thank you, Ryan. You have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You too, sir.